Hi and welcome to AIBA Lakehouse. Today we're going to talk about the new UI of Databricks metric views. In this video we will learn why metric views matter, what's the traditional approaches of defining metric views with YAML files, and how they can be built with low code in the new UI. Unity Catalog metric views are centrally defined governed business metrics in Unity Catalog. They are defined as YAML or SQL on top of other Unity Catalog assets, and they include dimensions and measures. Using them has multiple advantages. They are, for example, the single source of truth. So whenever a metric view is defined, the same KPI can be generated from a Genie space, an AIBA dashboard, or an agent. Furthermore, they are fully supported in Unity Catalog, so they allow central governance, and they enable fast self-service BI, because business users only have to drag measures and dimensions into their dashboards. But let's jump directly into the demo. As an example, we use Sunny Bay Roastery Data, which is a coffee company. They have facts, which are the sales, and they have multiple dimensions, such as customer, date, and product. Let's take a look on the facts. For each transaction, they specify the quantity sold, but also the gross revenue, the net revenue, and also the VAT. Let's first take a look how a metric view is defined as a YAML file. We click on Edit for opening the metric view, and now we can see the YAML structure. We have a source, which is the fact table, and afterwards we have to define the joins for the different dimension tables. And then we define all of the dimensions, which are the columns for filtering the data. Finally, measures are defined. Let's now create a new metric view with a new UI. Therefore, we enter first the name of the metric view, which is UI crafted metric view. Now we can switch to the UI preview by clicking on the UI preview button and selecting the source table. After we add the source table, we can add the multiple dimension tables. We start with the customer table and entering the keys for the join, which is the customer key column in both tables. Afterwards, we have to select the columns we want to use as dimension columns. Now we can add the next table, which is dim date. We can also add the join with a declarative way or an expression. So source date key equals dim date date key. And again, we have to enter the columns which should be shown as dimensions. We have to repeat that for the other dimensions as well. It is important to remove columns with the same name and to remove our surrogate keys. Now we have a beautiful star schema with one fact table and 4 dimension tables. In the next steps, we are going to clean up the dimensions and create some measures. Let's first take a look on the dimensions. And here we can see that surrogate keys are still included. So we can select multiple dimensions and just delete all of them. Let's enrich the dimensions with some metadata. We could do that easily manually by typing in, for example, a comment in the comment field. However, this takes a lot of time, and therefore we can make use of the Databricks assistant for generating the comment or also the synonyms. Before we are making use of the metric view, we need to create some measures. There's one measure which is count star, which is always part of the model. But now we want to create another measure, which we name M total gross revenue. We can use the expression builder for summing the column of gross revenue. And which is quite cool is that we can also take a look on the preview of this measure. The measure can also be grouped by different values, such as for date, as you can see here. And we can also take a look on the visualization of the measure grouped by date. Let's go back to the creation of the measures and create a new measure. Now we want to create a measure which exists out of two other measures, and therefore we can first enter the name, which is the total net revenue, and now we can add the expression. And instead of the builder, we also can manually enter the expression, and here we have a quite cool autocomplete. So we subtract the total gross revenue and the total VAT, and we again use the AI tools for adding comments and synonyms. Finally, we're adding a last measure, which is completely AI generated. So we take this example here, which is the trailing 30-day gross revenue in US dollar. And here we can see the expression, which is a window function, the trailing 30 days over the date. And we already see automatically generated the display name, the comments, the synonyms, and the format. Now the metric view has been finalized. The cool thing is we can switch to the YAML view and can see the entire metric view defined as code. Let's now save it and create a Genie room out of it. If we create the Genie space based from the metric view, we just have to add the metric view. All joins and measures and dimensions are already included. After we loaded the metric view into our Genie space, we can now ask questions with natural language. So for example, what are the net coffee sales over the past years? Genie will show the proper results based on the metric view we defined before.